Hello, welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today we're looking at, well, something a little bit special, something a little bit exciting. This is going to be the dealer only pre-launch Austin Allegro brochure. I don't know if you can make that out, it just says Allegro on it. It's something a bit special. We've talked about the Allegro before, but you'll want to see this. Welcome back, and yeah, like I said at the start, we're going to look at something a bit special. We've looked at the Allegro a few times on this channel, the second, third reincarnation of it, I suppose we could call it, but this is the original. It was launched in 1973. This is the pre-launch though. This particular brochure wasn't given out to the general public. It would have been each dealership would have had one, probably the principal, the top guy would have had one of these. It's a bit special, it's all hard backed, and even in a case and another hardback book inside there as well, showing the pre-launch. Interesting, it's also showing how to set up your showroom, how the Allegro is going to be advertised. All really interesting stuff for me, and I hope you find it interesting as well. So without further ado, let's have a look at today's brochure. Okay, so here is today's brochure. Super reflective, unfortunately, but you can see it just says Allegro a lot of times before you actually pull it out, as you can see, into this hardback book. I don't know if you can make that out, but it says there, Allegro, the new driving force from Austin. Starts off with a couple of black pages, nothing too exciting, before we get that message repeated again. And then when we turn the page once more, it tells us it's presented. I'm not even going to attempt to read that, but this Spanish, it's basically saying presented at February 1973. Again, super reflective, so it is hard to kind of like focus on there, but yeah, presented in February 73 for the pre-launch of the Allegro. The Allegro, of course, came out in 73, went all the way till 1982. And we do have some text on here. We'll have a look at some of this text because it is quite interesting, but obviously it's a huge brochure there, so we'll move through the rest of it pretty fast. Okay, so it says here, 4 years ago, British Leyland selected a team of engineers, designers and technicians to give them the most important assignment the British automotive industry has ever undertaken. Their brief was to anticipate the changing attitudes and demands of the motorists in the 70s and build a car to match. That was the easy part. The second part of the brief said that the new vehicle must appeal to the high volume family car sector of the market and sell for a price starting below £1,000. It goes on to say, today that car is a reality. Allegro, the new driving force from Austin. It's a car that offers so much more than just the superficial appeal of being new. It's a car that not only accepts comparison, it invites it, it insists on it. Nobody's more aware than you that the car buying has drastically changed over the last few years. Today, he is offered a bigger choice for the money than ever before. Only he, unfortunately, this is the 70s, remember. This includes both British and imported cars, and the competition is going to get harder now that the European competition has free access to this British market. So they did kind of know that, you know, the competition from Europe and further abroad was increasing. It goes on to say, so Allegro has something distinctively different to offer. It's not a styling or engineering copy of everything else on the road. Its whole personality is new, from the way it looks, the way it moves, the way it feels. It has character and natural feel for the road that sets it clearly apart from any other car in its price range. Its small body size has been brilliantly designed to give an extraordinary amount of passenger and boot space. The combination of front-wheel drive and a revolutionary gas suspension system. Gives ride and handling quality that is unsurpassed. A 5-speed gearbox that gives overdrive economy is standard on many models. Power from 1100 all the way up to the exciting 1750. And the total range offers the car buying exactly what he wants from 6 levels of trim and an enormous 12 car range. All in all, Allegro is an Austin at its best. A combination of ride, power, comfort and economy characteristics that offer us all the biggest selling opportunity we've ever had. An opportunity to make automotive history. And then we get various snippets of information on each page. Here it's showing power choices from 1100 to 1750. You know, talking about the 1100, 1300 and the high performance 1500 and 1750 models. We turn the page and it's talking about the hydrogas, so the world's first hydrogas suspension. And then we have a look at this nice little cutaway section of an Allegro, and you can see that quartic steering wheel quite clearly in this picture, and the little bit of idea how that hydrogas suspension looks. And then it's saying 5-speed gearbox gives overdrive economy as standard equipment on all 1500 and 1750 models. Automatic available on all models except 1100 Deluxe. And then we get that picture of this quartic steering wheel. Maybe I should move in a little bit. It says the first quartic steering wheel gives better instrument visibility, lets you get in and out of the car more easily. You know, the idea that you can see these gauges clearly, your legs can go under there easier. Everyone always talks about the Allegro and this terrible idea of the quartic steering wheel, but it wasn't a bad idea really, but it really didn't last. We always think about Austin Allegros having the quartic steering wheel. By pretty much 74, they kind of like dropped that option. Everyone wanted just a normal round steering wheel. Again, you get this nice image of the engine bay. It says easy servicing, transverse engine, large engine space provides much more room for access and easier servicing. We then look at the rear. It says 15 cubic feet boot, 9.05 cubic feet of usable space gives us much room as some cars costing twice the price. I always think the failing really was they didn't offer it as a hatchback. They kind of like kept that for the Maxi, saying, oh, this Maxi's got a hatchback, but really they should have just had that on the full range, knowing how popular hatchbacks were. We then get this unusual picture of this dirty wheel, radial tyres on all models, plus underbody protection against corrosion at no extra cost. A lot of misinformation about the Allegro being a very rusty prone car, but in reality, for the 70s, they were actually very good. This unusual picture saying electric cooling fan aids engine efficiency, and because it's controlled by a thermostat, the engine is cooled even when idling. And then a blank page before we get an actual picture of an Allegro. It says 12 models in 2- and 4-door styles. It's the biggest range of domestic or imported saloons ever offered to the British motorist. And then we get a nice image of this interior, and on the opposite side a nice image of this 2-door Deluxe, available as an 1100 or 1300, which looks quite nice. I always think all the pictures of the Allegros in here really look nice. It is a particularly nice book. Even the interiors look really good quality in these books as well. More images of the Allegro, this time the 1300 2 and 4-door Super Deluxe. And this is an image, if if I can get that in shot there. This is an image of a 1500 two-door Super Deluxe, and this absolutely beautiful coloured purple four-door 1500 Super Deluxe, which looks really good in that colour, doesn't it? More interior shots. Again, I always think these interior shots in this book make the car look really quite luxurious. And there's the rear end, the 1500 four-door Special. And again, there's the front angle of it. Different grills for different models, which it also shows that later on as well. More interior shots, really making the Allegro look rather luxurious and very special. Very clever pictures. This time it's going to show us a 1750, and then a few different images here. The top here we've got a 750 two-door Sport, a 750 four-door Sport, and a 1750 two-door Sport. Nice wheels, as you can notice on there as well. More interior shots. This time I have this 1750, again showing that Quartic steering wheel. And before we get a very large picture, which I'm going to have to pull the camera back out, a very nice large image of this blue 1750 four-door Sport Special. And the interior shot, of course. And it tells us there's 3 different grills, so 3 different grill choices. So the 1100 1300 Deluxe, this straightforward grill, the 1300 Super Deluxe having a grill like this, and the 1500 Super Deluxe, 1500 Special, 1750 Sport and Sport Special having this quite unusual grill. And then it goes on to say there's 5 different rear styles. So we've got the 1300 and 1500 Super Deluxe looking quite plain, the 1100 and 1300 Deluxe, the 1500 Special, the 1700 Sport Special, and the 750 Sport. And then it says there's a plus, there's no extra costs, no extra cost extras on all models. So it's saying front disc brakes, hazard warning lights, door mounted rear view mirror, wow, a new draft ventilation, child safety catches on the rear doors, and 2-speed wipers and electric washers. More images saying plus there's no extra cost on the 1500 and 1750 models. So we've got reclining seats, heated rear window, fully carpeted, a simulated wood trim, vinyl roof on the Special or Sport Special, which I do particularly like, and luxury seat trim. It then goes on to say, there is some sort of like extras and parts you can get, which you should be supplying at your dealership. Lots of blank pages, for whatever reason, I don't know. Before we get to this particularly very interesting thing, which we'll have a look at, it says Allegro, the new selling force for Austin. Some very interesting dealer only information in there, which we'll have a look at now. So a similar idea, this sort of the shiny, again that same Allegro, the new selling force for Austin. More black paper. Before we come to this little bit of a text, which we'll have a look at now. This is just what the dealer would be looking at. It says the proposition, the new driving force for Austin, was created to reflect directly in a strong and meaningful phrase the engineering qualities and the package of the new benefits offered by the Allegro range. The proposed allied to the visual presentation of the car and its distinctive personality formed the basis of the launch advertising campaign that is detailed in the following pages. There is, however, another factor in the advertising mix: the coordination of media to provide swift, powerful and effective communication of the advertising message to the target audience. The introduction of the Austin Allegro will be marked by a launch program that will not only reach 85% of all men within the first 72 hours by the use of television and whole pages in all national dailies, but will through massive editorial coverage, breaking the barrier of all other car advertising activity to make the launch of the Austin Allegro an event of national significance. Following the first 3 days advertising, the dramatic impact of the launch will maintain by the use of further whole page advertisements in national dailies, enthusiast magazines and specialist press, with nationwide use of over 2,000 prime 48 sheet poster sites. To say the 72 hours launch period, all national daily magazines will be used to announce the Austin Allegro. These 2 advertisement subjects featuring colour photography will be seen by 80% of all men within the first 72 hours of launch. In addition, whole pages in colour will be appealing in weekend magazines and specialist and enthusiast magazines. On television, this powerful medium will be used on the night preceding the national newspaper launch to build fast awareness of the Austin Allegro and stimulate discussion and showroom visits by potential purchases. The visual and emotional attributes of television will be exploited to the full with this dramatic demonstration of the new driving force from Austin, which will be seen by over 10 million male viewers. All really concentrated on male, isn't it, for some reason? It gives you an idea of what the advertisement on the TV will actually look like. And through massive editorial comment, an event as important as the launch of the Austin Allegro will generate massive coverage in editorial columns, on television and radio newscasts and motoring programs. In enthusiast and specialist magazines, it will be the biggest launch in recent automotive or British automotive history. And it gives you a little bit of a guy selling some newspapers, I should say. It then goes on to say, and during the following week, whole page spaces in the Daily Express, Daily Mail, Daily Mirror, Sun and Financial Times will feature the introduction of these 4 advertisements, each capitalising on upon a major feature of the Austin Allegro. And again, on the next page, it gives you an idea of what the advertisement's going to be like. So the Austin Allegro introduces hydro-gas suspension, giving it an image of going through rough ground, and a little bit of an idea what the text will say on the newspaper. And then still more ideas. So the 1750 Austin Allegro, and there it is, ploughing through there. And that's going to be another advertisement, and then another advertisement still, Austin Allegro, how can anything so tough be so beautiful? So they're little clever little images of some of the advertisements that will be used at the time. An idea of how the car is going to be priced at the dealership. You know, like how to set that out, all the equipment on each different model, etc. No prices, because at this time they wouldn't have actually finalised the pricing. And then it talks about outdoor advertising. Over 2,000 48 sheet poster sites will be utilised to ensure a strong and immediate brand identity for the Austin Allegro, and over 80% of male motorists will be reached by this medium alone in the first month of the launch. Again, it gives us another sort of a double side spread this time of some more images, how that advertisement's going to be seen. A few more advertisements. It says that it's going to be 10 feet deep and 20 feet wide. So these are going to be huge signs and posters. And then finally it starts talking about premium quality outdoor material, so specially designed to reflect the new driving force that is the Austin Allegro. So we've got rotating disc bunting for interior showroom use, window framing material, corner panels, straight pieces, corner pieces and pelments, triangular freestanding displays, also for use as a screen display when opened, square freestanding display, also a double-sided screen display when opened, wallpaper supplied in rolls of 21 wide, range of 5 posters, various sizes, hanging mobile for use singly or as a group display, and car identification crowners to cover the Allegro range. So this is all going to be things that are actually going to be shown in the dealership. It does rather nicely actually show how that's going to look actually in your local dealership, which is very nice. So the cars and all this advertisement around it. And then finally it talks about local advertising material, so talking about things like sales ads, promotions, direct mail, etc. So I think that's an interesting little bit of history on the Austin Allegro, and that's really one of the reasons I wanted to share it with you. So there we go, the pre-launch Austin Allegro brochure. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I sometimes just enjoy flicking through that. A little bit of history really, isn't it? But anyway, if you did enjoy this episode, and if you did actually get this far through the episode, please do subscribe. It does help the channel greatly and helps you bring more interesting material like this. But there are many other brochures in the back history, or the back catalogue if you will, but there are also many more brochure reviews coming, and the videos will get better and better over time. We're only a very tiny channel at this stage. But for now, we'll say thank you so much for watching, take care, we'll see you very soon, goodbye.